we are going to explore adding content to pages on your iPad, and we're going to start with simple text. Now, the reason this is important is because if a student chooses to use the on-screen keyboard, then they're going to have several options that I want you to be aware of that they can do and actually use just by using the keyboard on screen. Some students may prefer to use a keyboard that is attached with a cord via the Lightning port or Bluetooth, but if they do want to use the on-screen keyboard, you do have several options. Working top left to right, you can change the font very easily and quickly. You can tab or indent, and that is right beside where that is, so you can see that you can create a tab or an indent. It does have predictive text, and that actually adjusts based on the student's use. Over to the right, you can change the font size. You can make something bold, italicized, or underlined. You can also change the justification to be center, aligned right, in the middle. And then you can create a paragraph or column break, a page break, add a footnote, bookmark, or equation. So it's very easy and quick to get to these features and options. The other thing that you may notice is in the lower left-hand side, you do have an emoji, so they can put emojis in there if they turn on that keyboard. But I want to show you where to go if you do not want that to be an option, or you want to ask them to add another keyboard. Because the other thing that you can do is head over to Settings, and under General, go to Keyboard. You'll see that you have several options here in relation to capitalization, correction, spelling, and then at the very top it says Keyboards. If you choose the keyboards, you can add different keyboards, and this includes the languages. So if I add a new keyboard and I'm working with students who either speak Spanish, so they're Spanish native speakers, or my students are learning Spanish, I can actually scroll down and choose Spanish. Now notice they have it where it can be Latin American Spanish, Mexican Spanish, or Spanish from Spain. There are differences within these dialects and languages in the way that some of the letters are used and the way that the words are written. So this will grab that lexicon and put it into the keyboard for things like the predictive text and the way that you spell it. I'm just going to choose Spanish from Mexico, and you'll see that it has been added as a keyboard. Let's say that I'm teaching French, or I have a French-speaking student. I can go to France by going to French Standard, French from Belgium, or for our Canadian friends, it could be Canadian French. So I can choose the different keyboards that I want to put in there. If you have a student and they are a native language speaker and it is not English, this is also a great way for them to be able to engage with what you're doing and still be able to practice and work on their writing. And all you have to do is go in and make one adjustment in the keyboard. The other thing I want to show you under Keyboards and Settings is at the bottom you'll see Enable Dictation. When I turn that on, it is going to say it would like to use information to process your request. We're going to have to enable that. And what that will allow it to do is when I am in an app like Pages or Notes or even Keynote, I can dictate to the iPad what I want to say, and it will both type it in and it will read it for me. So I'm going to go back to Pages, and I am in Pages right now. And let's say again that I wanted to change and have them add a section where they are writing in Spanish. So what I would do is the little world icon now appears where the emoji was, and it is going to change the keyboard. Now you'll notice it said on the spacebar which keyboard I was working with. Okay, so if you're not sure which keyboard it is, when you tap the screen, if you hold it in, you can actually choose which one you want by holding it in. If you just tap on it once, it's going to go to the next keyboard. You can also change if it is predictive text or not, and then if any of the shortcuts are available. So I'm going to take it back to standard US English, but I just wanted to show you that you can do that. Now when you do that, you'll see that the keys change a little bit. You have several other options on here in the ways that the words are going to appear. So if I take it back to standard, that's what that is. The next beside that is the microphone, and if I tap on the microphone, it is now going to pick up the words that I say. So what I did there was I was dictating to the iPad and it was writing and typing for me. This is great for students, especially those who may have some needs in relation to this area. So think of the iPad not only as a tool for creating content and writing essays and doing wonderful things with it in the classroom, but also think of it in terms of the accessibility that is available for students who may need it. It is not perfect, as no app is when it is picking up words, but it is very good, and it is really accurate a lot of the times with what the students are saying. So those are the basics for inserting content from the on-screen keyboard into your Pages document. One other thing that I want to show you is how to move the cursor. This is something that comes up a lot, both from students and staff, where they want to be able to move the cursor and they just begin to tap on the screen, but it may never actually pinpoint where you want it to go. You have two options here. The first is to hold your finger over the text and the magnifying glass will appear. This will allow you to move the cursor to exactly where you want it to go. The other thing that you can do, you can press two fingers on the keyboard and it will also move the cursor around. The other thing to keep in mind is that you may want to highlight one word or in multiple sections or a paragraph. So if you double click on any one word, it will highlight it, giving you several options there, and these two blue dots will show up. If you grab either side of one of those dots and drag, it is going to allow you to highlight the section that you would like. If you want to unhighlight or you don't want it to be highlighted, you can simply tap anywhere else on the screen and it will remove that highlight for you. So that will be important if you want to change the formatting, if you want to change the font of one section, and we will look at how to edit and manipulate a little bit more of that in a future video. So that is working with the on-screen keyboard and adding content to the essay as a standard word processing document.